Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld calls Man of Steel a 10 out of 10, doubling down on his longtime support for Snyder's Superman despite fan debates. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. The film earned over $670 million at the global box office and served as a springboard for later DCU films like Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Justice League. While the future of Superman on screen has shifted with new actors and reboots underway, Liefeld's endorsement keeps Man of Steel firmly in the conversation. The 2013 film, directed by Zack Snyder, starred Henry Cavill as Superman and marked the beginning of the DC Extended Universe. Though it received mixed reviews upon release, the film has built a solid fanbase over time, especially among those who love its gritty tone and modern twist on the classic hero. Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld has been Team Man of Steel from day one, praising everything from Snyder's bold direction to Cavill's superpowered performance. His latest tweet calling the movie a 10 out of 10 is just another notch in his long history of backing the film. Rob Liefeld, the man behind Deadpool, has never been shy about his love for Man of Steel, and he's made it loud and clear, especially in a throwback tweet that still holds up. The film earned over $670 million at the global box office and served as a springboard for later DCU films like Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Justice League. While the future of Superman on screen has shifted with new actors and reboots underway, Liefeld's endorsement keeps Man of Steel firmly in the conversation, and the tweet. Liefeld pointed out how Man of Steel outpaced Superman Returns at the box office and called it the sliding door moment for DC. He argued that instead of building off that win and delivering a proper sequel, DC got impatient. Reflecting on the 2013 film's strong box office debut, Liefeld once posted that Man of Steel was the moment DC had all the right pieces in place. The tweet may not be new, but the message remains timely. Zack Snyder had clearly invested in Henry Cavill's Superman, casting him as the central figure in every DCU film he directed. Yet Man of Steel 2 never happened. Now, with a new Superman era underway, fans still wonder what Man of Steel 2 could have been. Trying too hard to catch up with Marvel, they skipped steps and skipped giving Superman the focused arc he deserved. According to Liefeld, the studio didn't need a shared universe overnight. What it needed was more patience. The tone was darker than what fans were used to, and the destruction in Metropolis was over the top. The pacing was a bit rushed, especially when it came to Superman's relationship with Lois and his internal growth. Man of Steel may not have been everyone's cup of tea, but it definitely wasn't the disaster some made it out to be. Yes, it took risks, some big ones, and not all of them landed perfectly. So no, Man of Steel isn't perfect. But it dared to shake things up, and for many fans, that made it a memorable and surprisingly grounded take on the Man of Tomorrow. But let's give credit where it's due. Zack Snyder brought a bold vision to Superman's world. Visually, the movie was stunning. Every frame felt epic. Henry Cavill in Word was fantastic as Superman. His portrayal showed a man caught between two worlds, trying to find his place. The action was intense and made Superman feel powerful in a way we hadn't seen on screen before. And while the neck snap scene was controversial, it added moral complexity to a character often seen as too perfect. It showed a Superman who was still learning, still becoming the icon we know. It wasn't flawless, but it was thoughtful. Superman director James Gunn has an update about the Batsuit in his version of Batman, and we think that the director will go for something simple. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. The director revealed to Fandango, via Variety, that he had asked DCU director Zack Snyder, who handled the DC Cinematic Universe before James Gunn, for help in deciding how to fuse the red trunks from the comic books into Superman's costume for his upcoming movie. DCU director James Gunn has an update about Batman's costume in the DCU after his famous talk with Zack Snyder about Superman's red trunks in his 2025 film. Although there is no final decision on what Batman's suit will look like in Gunn's DCU, the director confirmed that he was indeed looking at Batsuits from past movies and DC Comics to get inspiration. Speaking with CBR, James Gunn said that he was a Batman superfan and far too confused to decide on a Batsuit. There's no decision made about the costume at all yet. I like many different versions. I'm a Batman superfan. And so I like all the different versions of the Batman suit. I don't know what we are going to do. Fighting off powerful villains and enemies, the Batsuit is a crucial part of Batman, and it needs to be properly addressed in every DCU movie that comes. But we think that James Gunn has got it. James Gunn has the opportunity to start from scratch, and as a result, he can have any suit that he wants for Batman when the character appears in The Brave and the Bold. Although Zack Snyder couldn't offer much help to Gunn because he himself went without the red trunks on Superman in his DCU movies, Snyder did sympathize with James Gunn, who was taking on the project of a very big IP, Superman. I talked to Zack Snyder, who was like, "I tried a billion different versions with the trunks, and at the end of the day I tried it, but I just couldn't get there." And I was feeling exactly the same way. After much back and forth, it was Superman star David Corenswet who literally saved the day by convincing James Gunn to just go ahead with the red trunks. That decision turned out to be quite an important one for Gunn to establish his DCU separate from Zack Snyder's DCU. Lee's concept for the Batman was more of a sleek pattern with the rain just rolling right off the edge alongside a more tankier build, white eyes, a broader Batman logo on the chest, and more durable without sacrificing agility too much. Hence, Lee's design is the go-to Batsuit that people have known and loved for years. On the other hand, James Gunn can decide to go all the way back to the original design of the gray and blue suit of Batman with nothing but a layer of cloth to help him out. Maybe Gunn wants Batman to evolve along the way and create better gear for himself in the DCU. Of course, James Gunn can always go with Jim Lee's Batman suit, which debuted in Batman Hush in 2004, which is considered the most modern look of Batman. Not in a technological way, but the Batman that we know and love has been inspired by Jim Lee's designs. The third option is the Batman Beyond suit. The darkest suit that Batman can ever design, the Batman Beyond suit, is a radical improvement over the traditional Batsuits that have been featured in the movies. A high-tech suit with glowing red edges and curves, the suit is better, more refined, and has everything that Batman could possibly need, like gliding, invisibility, and strength. Of course, James Gunn is also looking at these designs and wondering what kind of Batman he wants in the DCU. Personally, we think that the director would go for a simpler suit that can be refined and improved later on. It would be fun to see what James Gunn does with the DCU and how he can change the audience's perspective about these so-called gods and monsters. Do you think James Gunn's Batman will be the best iteration of the character on the big screen? Let us know your thoughts below. Skylar Gisondo, who portrays the role of Jimmy Olsen in James Gunn's Superman, stated that he thought he was auditioning for Superman. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Skylar Gisondo, who found fame for his roles in Licorice Pizza, Booksmart, and Vacation, auditioned for James Gunn's movie for a role he thought was that of Superman. It was a major boggler for James Gunn when casting came into question for his upcoming DCU project, Superman. Eventually, Gunn decided to go ahead with David Corenswet as Clark Kent, aka the Man of Steel. Of course, countless actors had auditioned for the role, and thousands more had been fan cast